Welcome to Guns 101, our video welcome message for new gun owners. It's brought to you by the Self-Defense Radio Network. I'm Rob Morris from Self-Defense Gun Stories. My partners here are Amanda Suffolk from Eye on the Target Radio, and the guy behind the curtain doing that heavy tech, that's Paul Lathrop from the Polite Society podcast. We're very lucky to have Tony Simon with us. He's from The Second Is For Everyone, and you can find him at diversityshoot.com. Tony, lots of people brought a gun home. They're new to the gun culture. We have our own language. Everything on a gun has the wrong name. What do they need to learn just so that we have the common language to talk about?
That's one of the things that I stress with people, especially when I do women's classes, only because if you don't have some of the words right, people assume you just don't know what you're talking about, and that's unfair. Only because this is a new world to you, and these are not words you usually use.
Right.
So let's start with a semi-automatic. Now, YouTube has new rules, so I don't know what I can and can't show, but I know I can show a magazine. This is not a clip. This is a magazine. That goes in, it inserts into the grip of your firearm. These are bullets or cartridges. Either one, you can call them that. Let's not be pedantic. But yes, this is a cartridge. Usually on the back of them, they tell you what caliber it is. And it's important when you go to the store to purchase some that not only do you know what caliber you're buying, which is somewhere on your firearm, usually on the barrel, which is where the round comes out of, it has the caliber on it. You pick up your box of cartridges, open them, and make sure that the back of the round, the back of the cartridge case, has the same thing on it as is on the box, as is on your handgun or your firearm. Reason being, if you get it wrong, they don't exchange ammo at most stores. Does anyone else know anyone that takes ammo back?
No.
No?
Swap it with your buddies, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Or buy another gun to go with the ammo you just bought.
That's what you have to do. I don't know if you understand gun rules, but yeah, that's one of them. If you accidentally buy 357 ammo, guess what you got to buy? So I'm just joking. A little. Okay, learning the nomenclature is very important, only because now everyone's on the same page. Understanding the caliber of your firearm, again, part of nomenclature. Because 9mm, you think it's easy. I like a 9. Unless you find out there's things as 9mm Makarov, which is a Soviet round. They sell that in stores too, and now all of a sudden you have 9mm from the Soviet Union that you can't use in your Glock. They also have 9mm short, which is called 380. Again, totally different round than 9mm, totally different handgun. So it's important that you find a source. Nowadays on YouTube, they still have old videos up that can break the parts down. A revolver, it has a cylinder. Unlike a semi-automatic that does not have a cylinder, a semi-automatic has a chamber. And I'm trying to pull my Glock apart off camera and be safe.
We can hear you.
And point it in a safe direction. It's like,
sometimes it's difficult to be trying to walk and talk and chew gum or disconnect your firearm at the same time that you are trying to do a live video.
Well, the last time I walked, talked, and chewed gum at the same time, all of my hair fell out, so I stopped doing that. I'm just saying. I was like,
the beard is still there, just saying.
Well, the beard had to come in to make up for the hair loss. All right, it's not happening today, boys and girls.
Okay.
So, all guns, for the most part, have a trigger. A trigger is the thing you keep your finger off of until you're ready to shoot. The grip, it's kind of self-explanatory. It's where you grip your handgun. And if you have a Springfield XD, it will say grip zone on the side for you, just so you don't forget that. I'm just a little bit joking again. On top, there are little bumpy things called sights, and that's part of marksmanship fundamentals, but the sights are on top of the gun, and you should use those all the time if you can. What else? Muzzle. Muzzle is a part of muzzle discipline. Muzzle is where the round comes out of the end of the barrel. This is the dangerous part. It's the part that you keep pointed downrange or away from your friends or away from your soft bits. And it's important to know the difference, and it's also important to have what we call muzzle awareness, which when you go into the gun store to look at your firearm, when you take it out of your safe, when you go to the range finally when you get there, you make sure the muzzle is pointed downrange. Downrange means where the target is. That's also called a safe zone or safe space or whatever you want to call it, a safe direction. That's usually what we use in class. But however you want to remember it, your muzzle always points in the safe direction. But the gun's empty. Let's always roll under the assumption that your gun is not empty. But when you pick up your gun, you check the chamber or the cylinder to make sure your gun is empty. Let me see. We covered triggers, we covered grips, we covered muzzle, we covered chamber, and we figured out how ammo works, and we covered magazines. So I think that's, for the most part, is an example of almost 90% of the guns out there, if not more.
The nomenclature. So I think that's a really good start on it. And so here's what I would recommend: is you bought a brand new gun, get the manual out, take the gun, lay it on the table, and then get the manual. And the manual generally has some pictograms to tell you this stuff. Identify all of the stuff that Tony's talking about. If your gun has a safety, where is the front sight? Where is the back sight? What's the trigger look like? Does the trigger is it flat? Is it curved? Is it a two-piece trigger that's got a little hingey in the middle of it? Understand all of the workings of it. Kind of poke at it, look at it, and understand it before you start to do heavy-duty handling, because then in your mind you know what your gun looks like and you know what all the pieces are. Does that make sense, Tony?
Okay, and to the gentlemen out there, the guys out there, let me explain something. This is a manual. It's a small book that we usually throw away when we buy everything. It's really important that you pay attention to it with a firearm, especially if you've never handled one or this is your first one. You want to take that step. Now, again, it's small, and usually we throw it away with the wrapper, but let's not do it this time. Let's go in it. And I've never read this, but don't do as I do. Do as I say.
They can actually read it at home in the privacy of their own home, and nobody will ever need to know. It's just like you and your magazine. Remember like when you were 14. You and your magazine. It's your secret. Okay?
Well, I thought it was my secret, but Soldier of Fortune, I didn't know everybody knew I read that. But yeah,
I guess.
That's it.
It's no longer your secret. So there you go. Tony Simon, the second is for everyone. DiversityShoot.com is his website. Look him up. And he's an instructor in New Jersey. So if you're in the area, give him a call. Take a class, because you can never go wrong by taking a class.